the legacy, the things, whatever comes after I finish playing will take care of itself. I want to win a championship. Be damned if it's just for my legacy or if it's for this team, for my personal being, for my sanity. Yeah, the legacy will take care of itself. I have to stay where my feet are. This is the thing. The teams that Dak Prescott has had in years past are far superior than the team that he's going to play with this year. And we can all assume, and we may all say also, the coaches he had in years past was far superior than the head coach that he has this season in Schottenheimer.
Well, you can't really say that because Schottenheimer's been on the team for the last 5 years, and he's been an offensive coordinator and quarterback coach. So you can't make that excuse for him.
You're the offensive coordinator, but you ain't calling any plays. You're the offensive coordinator. You don't have any say-so. And we know that. We know that from being on teams where the head coach is an offensive guy. The coordinator is just running the meetings if the head coach ain't in there. Other than that, that's the head coach. That is the
1-0 pitch. Stowers cracks that one out to center and deep. Siri is back. He looks up and it's gone. The Marlins waste no time. Kyle Stowers with a 2-run shot, and they take a 2-0 lead in the first.
Miami Marlins baseball is on deck.
2-1. That kicks away from Rodriguez. Hill breaks for the plate. There will be no throw. And on a wild pitch, the Marlins walk it off again. 1-2. Conine lifts out to left field. Tommy Pham working back to the warning track. So is Sawinski. They look up and it's gone. Griffin Conine to left center. And we're tied at 2 in the 7th.
Marlins on deck. Brought to you by ADT, the official smart security partner of the Miami Marlins and Norwegian Cruise Line. Experience more at sea. Let's head out to the ballpark. Here's your host, Steven Strong.
Well, nice job, Ahmed. Welcome. We are live here from Nationals Park on an 80-degree overcast Saturday afternoon in the nation's capital. You're listening to Miami Marlins baseball on the radio. It's Fox Sports 940 Miami. Game 67 of 162. 3 hours and 29 minutes. That's how long it took for the Marlins to escape D.C. with a Game 1 victory over 2 hours via the rain delay. In a quick turnaround for Miami, Clayton McCullough's squad is eyeing their second road series victory of the season with a bullpen game on tap. Well, we are pumped to bring you Game 2 of this 3-game set. It's like an afternoon game barrage on this road trip between the 30-39 Washington Nationals and your now 26-41 Miami Marlins. Cade Gibson, well, he pitched about 14 hours ago. He will open up for the squad today. He'll make his first career start in the show, but again, it's going to look more like an opener with those lefties at the top of the lineup for the Nationals. He will go opposite Trevor Williams, former Marlins draft pick. He settles into his 14th start. That ties the same amount he made alone in 2024. Of course, Williams battled some injuries. First pitch today slated for 1:05 right here on the Marlins Radio Network. Well, hello, good morning, good afternoon. I don't know what time it is, but we're on here. Marlins on deck. We really appreciate you making us a part of your Saturday afternoon. I'm with Jack McMullen and Scott Kornberg, and of course, I'm Steven Strom. Ahmed back in the studio. Another just a battle from Ahmed after again, really long night and a quick turnaround. We appreciate him and everything back home in the Fox Sports 940 Miami Marlins Radio Network studios. What a game it was last night for Miami. 6-0. They jumped out to the big-time lead on Mitchell Parker. There was a rain delay. James Wood did make it 6-2 before that rain delay. We all sat here and we were like, oh, man, of course, Marlins off to a great start. Offense is humming. And here we go. We have to sit in a 2-hour delay. Cade Gibson kicked it off. The Marlins played it a couple. It made it 8-2. But the Nationals just wouldn't go away. This game got super tight. It got to the top of the 8th inning, and all of us were probably thinking the same thing. No way. This can't happen. And until Eric Wagaman stepped up to the plate and delivered a big, absolutely imperative, massive, whatever you want to call it, RBI single that gave the Marlins some breathing room.
That last sinker was at 100. 2-2. Wagaman lines one right side. That's through for a base hit. This may score 2. X scores from third. Augustine gets the wheeler out from second. He scores standing up, and Otto pushes to third base. Wags comes through. A line shot through the vacated right side of the infield, and it's 10-7 Marlins here in the top of the eighth.
That was one of 17 hits. It was a season high for the Marlins. Marlins win 11-9. Wags was just that 2-run single in the eighth. I mean, that really, to me, I thought won the game for the Marlins. Again, this was a helter-skelter, back-and-forth affair, and it felt like the way the game was going, you needed to get insurance runs. The Marlins did that in the top of the eighth. Eric Wagaman, a 2-run single, and I got a chance to catch up with him after the win. This victory tonight, outside of you guys actually winning, what is most satisfying about a win like tonight?
I think the way that we came out, like pre-rain delay, I think we swung it well. We put up 6, and then after the rain delay, we didn't let it affect us. I thought we went out and swung it again. So it was good, like going back and forth with them, but it was obviously better to come out on top.
Give us a sneak peek in the clubhouse. What's going on during a 2-hour rain delay?
I think some of the guys, that maybe aren't in a lineup at the moment, like playing cards, just kind of keeping it relaxed, but at the same time, like being ready to play and not checking out completely. With that long of a delay, it's like it could be easy to check out, but you can't do that until Skip comes in and says so.
This was a wild game back and forth, but that top of the eighth, what did that hit feel like for you, and what were you looking for?
That guy's fastball was really good, so I was just trying to – hopefully he left one over the plate that, I could put in play. It felt great to, give us a couple extra insurance runs and then, put the pressure back on them.
All right, so that was Eric Wagaman, who, by the way, paces NL rookies in hits with 57, doubles with 13, total bases with 84, and runs with 26. Wags has been one of the great storylines of this season, a guy that was on a split contract, didn't know what he was going to look like. He played in Anaheim last year where he debuted, an older player, obviously, later in his career, got to the show, and here he is for the Marlins coming through. And yesterday was about the offense. I mean, let's not sugarcoat it here. Augustine Ramirez, great to see him. Another multi-home run game for Augustine Ramirez, who's 23 years old. And he was a guy that's going through it. But let me tell you this real quick, Marlins Nation. It is great. Augustine Ramirez is the future here. Okay? He is the future here with the Miami Marlins. For him to have this experience at this age, at this time, it is so invaluable for someone like him to go through it. Baseball, man, it's every day. There's ebbs and flows. There's peaks and valleys. I don't care who you are. Shohei Ohtani, Aaron Judge, you're going to go through the days where you feel like you can't collect a hit. For Augustine Ramirez to go through what he's gone through the last couple of weeks, because we know how fire he started this season, for him to go through that and be able to just figure it out. This guy's 23 years old. What's it going to look like in a couple of years? I just love the stick-to-itiveness that we've seen from Augustine and this coaching staff to continue to roll him out, continue to have him figure out ways to work through slumps. Do you think Augustine Ramirez struggled from a hitting standpoint throughout his career? I don't think so. So him to get up here and struggle a little bit, I love it, and he's paying dividends here. 2 home runs yesterday. Who else here yesterday? Dane Myers. Dane Myers, we got to keep talking about Dane Myers, who just continues to play really good baseball. 3-hit game. It was his 3rd one of the season. He's batting well over 300 right now. Xavier Edwards did reach base 4 times. He is not in the lineup today. We will reveal why coming up next. Good tease there by me. But the offense all along yesterday, that was the match. That was the headliner. The pitching, they just got through. Edward Cabrera left this game, and we got the medical update. What is it? Contusion? Contusion on the right ankle? Is that what they said? Contusion? Which basically, it just means, he got hit there, and it's swelling up a little bit. So we'll see what Edward Cabrera's status is over the next couple of days. But this was about the hitters. This was about the offense, and that was the topic going into yesterday. How can the Marlins outbreak here from an offensive standpoint? They had really struggled, except from that Saturday game in Tampa a week ago. It was like 4 runs or less in 8 of the 10 games to start this June. So hopefully there's something to build off of from yesterday into today against Trevor Williams. We will break here. Want to hear from Clayton McCullough talking about the club morale after a long, long night that ended in a victory, the bullpen, the status, and X being out of the lineup. 105 first pitch. We're back in 2 minutes on the Marlins Radio Network.
Gone to junior college. 1-1. Line shot, left center field, up the alleyway. That's a base hit rolling all the way to the wall. Wagaman rounds third and scores. Norby getting the wave at third. Here's the relay, and Norby beats it. He scores, and going to second with a 2-run double is Dane Myers. It's a haymaker, and the Marlins have scored 4 times in the third. They lead it 6-0.
Again, the runners go, and that one is a line shot past the dive of Abrams into left center field, a base hit. You got Stauer scoring from second. Hernandez breaks it down at third base, and it's an RBI single for Nick Fortes. Insurance for the Marlins. Their lead up to 5. It's 7-2 here in the top of the 5th.
1 tonight and found a way to win 12-4.
That one driven high in the air out to shallow left field. That's headed towards the triangle. You got the third baseman Tana calling for it, but it drops between the shortstop and the third baseman. Xavier Edwards was gunning for second base, and the throw came in from the left field line to get X at second. Garcia was covering the base. The throw beat Edwards by plenty. Hernandez, 2-2. James Wood laces one out to left field and deep. Hernandez is back. Hernandez reaching up. Heriberto Hernandez makes the catch. On the run, Hernandez jumps up and spears that ball right in front of the Marlins bullpen in left center field. Great play by Hernandez, and there's one away in the bottom of the 5th.
Come away with nothing.
That last sinker was at 100. 2-2. Wagaman lines one right side. That's throw for a base hit. This may score 2. X scores from third. Augustine gets the...
We are the original, the one, the only, the Palm Beaches. Plan your trip at thepalmbeaches.com.
Quick turnaround here on this Saturday afternoon for the Marlins. A snatch game won last night 11-9. It was a barn burner here in D.C. It's great to have you aboard here on a Saturday afternoon. It'll be Cade Gibson who will make his first career start, which is really an open. Jansen Junk to pick up the bulk of this game. I don't know what that means as far as when he comes in, but we know we'll see Jansen Junk at some point. He'll go opposite Trevor Williams. Steven Strom, Scott Kornberg, and Jack McMullen, they'll join me actually in a couple of minutes here, but I do want to get some thoughts from Clayton McCullough, who spoke this morning on the team's morale after yesterday's late, long victory, the state of the bullpen, plus why Xavier Edwards will not be in the lineup here this afternoon.
How are the boys doing? Obviously, it's a lot easier to come in after a long game and a victory.
Oh, yeah, I think you'd play all night if you could get a win. But, yeah, it'll be look, this is the big leagues. This happens, it happens a lot. East Coast baseball in the summer, you kind of – so I'm going to have some rain delays. They're going to have some evenings like last night. Certainly doesn't make it easy, but each team today, coming under the same circumstances. So, get our guys out here moving around a little bit, and we have a game we need to try to win today. It's nice to take the first game of a series, and if we come out, put our best foot forward, and try to put ourselves in position to win a series today.
You've had only 3 night games on this road trip, and you're played in the afternoon. Are there any challenges to that? Like, what goes into playing in the afternoon this much?
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, I think, even the schedule, during the season, there's a lot of, variabilities, right? With the travel and the time zones and all, but, you kind of do get accustomed a little bit to succession of night games, and, we've been on a run of some day games. So I think it's just like every season presents these types of, moments and it's not really a challenge, it's just what it is. And between, our players and training staff and our performance staff and the coaches, get these guys ready for today. And this one's a little unique with the hour at which it ended last night and turning around. But again, I mean, it's a lot better having to get up and, come to work here than a lot of other things. So we're lucky to even get a chance to do it.
Amen to that. Cade Gibson is going to open today. How do you envision yourself piecing this bullpen together today?
I think we'll. We do. We have, even with the number of arms that we threw yesterday, we should be in a good spot. To go after this game. We have Jansen, who's lined up with rest to give us the bulk of this game at some point when he comes in there. So, even with last night and what was used, feel like kept everybody in a pretty good place pitch count wise, and coming off the off day to be able to go out and try to maneuver and navigate this and hopefully put some guys in the best spots and just put up 1-0 at a time. And these days like this are just they're fun. And eventually, hopefully score some runs and give ourselves a cushion early on to play with.
Clayton, offensively, Sanchez at the top, no Xavier Edwards. What went into that decision?
Yeah, I think in speaking with X after the game, the ball, down the line there that fell and then, turned into an out at second. I think we could have done a better job of getting out of the box and just playing and then presenting itself with an opportunity for an extra bases there. And, it's like, look, where we're at right now moving forward, us being able to win at the margins, okay, and being able to scrap and claw, for 90s and for runs is an important thing for us. And I think, speed being a big part of X's game. And in that moment, look, it happens to, players all the time. I just think that, we could have done a better job there of just playing and letting the chips fall then. We didn't, and, cost us an out, potential inning to be extended, and just today that X wouldn't be in the starting lineup today, and then we'll just move on, and it'll be it'll be done.
All right, there you have it. That was Clayton McCullough on all the housekeeping. That is a quick turnaround, and Xavier Edwards out of the lineup tonight. We will discuss that in the segment of 4. We'll break. We'll do ahead of the count, but there's obviously a lot of meat on the bone that we need to discuss with all of what Clayton said. Again, Xavier Edwards out of the lineup today, and Jesus Sanchez will lead off for the Marlins. We will break. We'll get you ahead of the count. Cade Gibson and Trevor Williams, 105 first pitch from the nation's capital on the Marlins Radio Network.
Gone to junior college. 1-1. Line shot, left center field, up the alleyway. That's a base hit rolling all the way to the wall. Wagaman rounds third and scores. Norby getting the wave at third. Here's the relay, and Norby beats it. He scores, and going to second with a 2-run double is Dane Myers. It's a haymaker, and the Marlins have scored 4 times in the third. They lead it 6-0.
Again, the runners go, and that one is a line shot past the dive of Abrams into left center field, a base hit. You got Stauer scoring from second. Hernandez breaks it down at third base, and it's an RBI single for Nick Fortes. Insurance for the Marlins. Their lead up to 5. It's 7-2 here in the top of the 5th.
1 tonight and found a way to win 12-4.
That one driven high in the air out to shallow left field. That's headed towards the triangle. You got the third baseman Tana calling for it, but it drops between the shortstop and the third baseman. Xavier Edwards was gunning for second base, and the throw came in from the left field line to get X at second. Garcia was covering the base. The throw beat Edwards by plenty. Hernandez, 2-2. James Wood laces one out to left field and deep. Hernandez is back. Hernandez reaching up. Heriberto Hernandez makes the catch. On the run, Hernandez jumps up and spears that ball right in front of the Marlins bullpen in left center field. Great play by Hernandez, and there's one away in the bottom of the 5th.
Come away with nothing.
That last sinker was at 100. 2-2. Wagaman lines one right side. That's through for a base hit. This may score 2. X scores from third. Augustine gets the wheeler out from second. He scores standing up, and Otto pushes to third base. Wags comes through.
Hey, this is Anthony Bender, and you're listening to Marlins on Deck with Steven Strom on the Marlins Radio Network.
Well, thanks, AB. You might not have an all-star break, buddy. You might be off to Atlanta. I'm not going to lie to you. Steven Strom, Scott Kornberg, and Jack McMullen getting ready for Game 2, the middle game. Marlins looking to win this series. First one since on the road since their series victory in Anaheim. Make sure to take the Marlins wherever you go. Download the iHeartRadio app and make Fox Sports 940 your top preset to listen to every Marlins game. Want to get you ahead of the count quickly because there's a ton to discuss after what Clayton McCullough had to say this afternoon. We'll start here with Trevor Williams, former Marlins 2013 draft pick, who's in season 3 with the Washington Nationals. He'll make his 14th start today, more than all he did in 2024. 3-7, a 5.91 ERA, 13 starts, 64 combined. That's what his numbers look like coming into Saturday afternoon. He did take the loss against the Rangers last week, allowing 2 earned on 6 hits over 4 1/3, 2 punch outs 4 losses in his last 6 starts for Trevor Williams. His worst start of the season, ironically, came against the Marlins. On April 12th, he went 4 2/3, gave up 8 hits, 6 runs. Hopefully there's a lot more from Trevor Williams this afternoon from that stat perspective. So here's the mix. 4-seamer, opponents hitting 344. Sinker, 385. He throws it 39% of the time, that 4-seamer. Sinker a little less. This is the game for Trevor Williams. Make this man throw a fastball. The lefty and the righty splits. This is interesting, and I want to discuss this with the fellas as well. Trevor Williams splits. Right-handers hitting 202, 513 OPS. It's pretty good. Lefties, 362 batting average, 986 OPS. There's 3 lefties in the lineup for the Marlins today. Jesus Sanchez, who's at the top, Liam Hicksey, who is going to DH, and Kyle Stowers, who is in the lineup as well. 3 lefties in the lineup for Clayton McCullough's Marlins. Now, the problem is there's not a ton of lefties on the bench outside of Xavier Edwards, who, again, will not be in the starting lineup today. What's the answer? We'll find out next. We'll break. We'll get Jack and Scat on. We will talk about the lineup. We will talk about Xavier Edwards, and we'll talk about how this Marlins team is going to piece together the bullpen with an opportunity and a series victory. We are back in 2 minutes. Marlins on Deck continues on Fox Sports 940, Miami.
Miami Marlins fans, we celebrate
junior college. 1-1. Line shot, left center field, up the alleyway. That's a base hit rolling all the way to the wall. Wagaman rounds third and scores. Norby getting the wave at third. Here's the relay, and Norby beats it. He scores, and going to second with a 2-run double is Dane Myers. It's a haymaker, and the Marlins have scored 4 times in the third. They lead it 6-0.
Again, the runners go, and that one is a line shot past the dive of Abrams into left center field, a base hit. You got Stowers scoring from second. Hernandez breaks it down at third base, and it's an RBI single for Nick Fortes. Insurance for the Marlins. Their lead up to 5. It's 7-2 here in the top of the 5th.
1 tonight and found a way to win 12-4.
That one driven high in the air out to shallow left field. That's headed towards the triangle. You got the third baseman Tana calling for it, but it drops between the shortstop and the third baseman. Xavier Edwards was gunning for second base, and the throw came in from the left field line to get X at second. Garcia was covering the base. The throw beat Edwards by plenty. Hernandez, 2-2. James Wood laces one out to left field and deep. Hernandez is back. Hernandez reaching up. Heriberto Hernandez makes the catch. On the run, Hernandez jumps up and spears that ball right in front of the Marlins bullpen in left center field. Great play by Hernandez, and there's one away in the bottom of the 5th.
Come away with nothing.
That last sinker was at 100. 2-2. Wagaman lines one right side. That's throw for a base hit. This may score 2. X scores from third.
It changes.
And when a storm comes,
So we're ready.
tune into
Are you?
News Radio 610 WIOD.
All right, the boys are on their 5th coffee. Well, Jack and I. Scott's ready to go. Steven Strom, Jack McMullen, middle game here. Marlins and the Nationals. What a win it was for the Marlins. After a 2-hour and 14-minute delay, the Marlins played their longest 9-inning game of 2025. 3 hours and 29 minutes. 11-9 was the score. Marlins pick up their 26th victory of the season. How we doing, fellas? Are we good?
Yeah, what was your favorite part of that 2-hour, 14-minute rain delay yesterday, too, in the bottom of the 4th?
Probably the 5 podcasts we played.
That was good. I really liked the Hicks one. The Wagaman, revisiting the Wagaman T-shirt saga was nice.
And then to have that game and that moment in the 8th, you just can't. Their storylines just can't write.
Yeah, no, that was really poetic stuff for Eric Wagaman yesterday.
Okay, let's start with Xavier Edwards. I think that's probably the story going into Saturday afternoon. He is not in the lineup today. Your reaction and what you thought of what Clayton McCullough had to say this afternoon.
Yeah, I thought it was a little bit more disciplinary than I was initially expecting, to be totally honest with you. I mean, it sounds like Clayton had a conversation with X and said, hey, the standard is the standard. You unfortunately did not meet that standard last night in a certain instance. And, you're going to sit today. We'll see if X comes in the game later on, if the Marlins have an opportunity to win it with speed. But, I think it's honestly kind of cool that Clayton has said, hey, we hold a standard around here. I understand that you're a leadoff guy. I understand that you hit 325 last year. At the end of the day, you have to live up to the same standard as the other 25 guys in that clubhouse. And I thought that was good. Obviously, that's not a mistake that X is going to make again. And, he's being reprimanded for it today, I guess.
Scott, what's the hope with X after not being in the starting lineup today?
He's young, right? And this is your chance to not let this thing be okayed in his mind to do. And so those little things like making sure Dane Myers knows he should slide at home plate. Obviously, a few other instances yesterday, that's not okay. And this tells you this is what's going to happen if you don't do that. Doesn't matter how good you are. And Xavier is a really good player. He's really young. This is a really good way to kind of make it known that you cross the line, and this is what happens if not. So I think that the hope is that he doesn't have this happen again.
That's Scott Kornberg. That's also Jack McMullen. I'm Steven Strom. Going to ask you guys this question. Scott, I want you to answer first. Was there any glaring differences in watching the Marlins offense operate last night?
I think Jack put it perfectly during the broadcast. You said they had a game plan. Everybody comes in with a game plan. You know how you're going to attack Mitchell Parker. You know how you're going to attack Trevor Williams today. But they executed that game plan really well. They jumped on the fastball. They didn't bite on the splitter down low, didn't bite on things outside of the strike zone. It sounds very easy. It's not really all that easy to do, but just attack pitches that you could do damage with. And that's how you end up with 11 runs on 17 hits. Today with Trevor Williams, it's not that dissimilar. This is a guy who's really struggled, and he has struggled on his fastball. Opponents are hitting 344 with a 925 OPS against it. So it's a really similar tale, just a righty versus a lefty in Parker last night.
Young Jack, what you got?
No, I mean, kind of building off that, I thought, the plan of attack against Mitchell Parker was really sound. And then after the rain delay, I thought the Marlins did a really good job of, number one, tacking on runs, obviously, because you needed to with what Washington just did. But I thought they did a really good job of not going down quickly in at-bats. We saw the front 3 innings after the rain delay, 5 and 6 at least. And then the end of the 4th inning for Washington, they were going down quick. And we thought, it's past their bedtime. They want to go to bed right now. And the Marlins, not for a moment did you think that they wanted to go to bed. Like, they were taking pitches. They were waiting for their pitch, and they were pouncing on that. So I thought innings 1 through 9 with that 2-hour, 14-minute rain delay in between, I thought it was a heck of a job from the Marlins lineup yesterday.
Season high 17 hits, 11-9 victory. Thank you guys very much. I want to leave with this thought, and then we'll get Expo question, Steve's guarantee. I think the next start or the next step in the maturation of this team is when you build this lead, you have to shut it down. When you break the game open, you got to shut it down, prevent the high-stress innings, and leaking into a bunch of arms in that bullpen. I think there's an art to doing that, and I hope the Marlins can figure that step out because they've now shown the ability of breaking these games open and getting a sizable lead. But we saw in Tampa Bay, they let Tampa eke back in. They ended up winning, but those ones hurt if you're not able to hold on. Last night would have really hurt me, and I think it would have, can I speak for you guys, would have hurt of all of us if the Marlins fell on that one last night.
Absolutely. Yep.
So I'm going to be curious to see how they handle that over the next couple of weeks. If they can do it, we shall see. Scott and Jack have your call at 1:05. We will break Expo question, Steve's guarantee. It is all next on the Marlins Radio Network.
Gone to junior college. 1-1. Line shot, left center field, up the alleyway. That's a base hit rolling all the way to the wall. Wagaman rounds third and scores. Norby getting the wave at third. Here's the relay, and Norby beats it. He scores, and going to second with a 2-run double is Dane Myers. It's a haymaker, and the Marlins have scored 4 times in the third. They lead at 6-0.
Again, the runners go, and that one is a line shot past the dive of Abrams into left center field, a base hit. You got Stauer scoring from second. Hernandez breaks it down at third base, and it's an RBI single for Nick Fortes. Insurance for the Marlins. Their lead up to 5. It's 7-2 here in the top of the 5th.
1 tonight and found a way to win 12-4.
That one driven high in the air out to shallow left field. That's headed towards the triangle. You got the third baseman Tana calling for it, but it drops between the shortstop and the third baseman. Xavier Edwards was gunning for second base, and the throw came in from the left field line to get X at second. Garcia was covering the base. The throw beat Edwards by plenty. Hernandez 2-2. James Wood laces one out to left field and deep. Hernandez is back. Hernandez reaching up. Heriberto Hernandez makes the catch. On the run, Hernandez jumps up and spears that ball right in front of the Marlins bullpen in left center field. Great play by Hernandez, and there's one away in the bottom of the fifth.
Come away with nothing.
That last sinker was at 100. 2-2. Wagaman lines one right side. That's throw for a base hit. This may score two. X scores from third. Augustine gets the win. 750-0647 today. For license information, visit adt.com.
All right, we're rocking and rolling here on the Marlins Radio Network. About to hit the top of the hour. Fox Sports 940 Miami. Ahmed back in the studio in the 305. Steven Strom, Marlins on deck. Thanks for hanging out with us on a Saturday afternoon. It's game 2 of a 3-game set, the middle game here in the nation's capital. Scott Kornberg and Jack McMullen, they are with me as well. They have your call in about 5 minutes, so I better, put a pep in my step here. Expo question today. We had a very, very what felt like long delay last night. It was a 2-hour and 14-minute rain delay, and the game lasted 3 hours and 29 minutes. My question to you, what was, in time, the longest rain delay in MLB history? It was in 1990, White Sox and Rangers. Make sure to vote at Marlins Radio. It is time for Steve's Guarantees.
Batter up. Batter up.
Let's play some ball.
First pitch is moments away. Time now for Steve's Guarantees.
Another nice job by Ahmed. He just keeps stacking good days. Trevor Williams, his splits. Righties, I don't care. Lefties, 362 batting average with a 986 OPS. This is the day Kyle Stowers has multiple hits. I really like him in that 5 spot. He's going to have to start to get going here eventually if we want to keep pushing him to the All-Star game. He obviously has struggled as of late, but we believe in Kyle, and what we saw from that first month and change was real. Guys, go through it. Hopefully Kyle Stowers can work his way out of it, and hopefully today is the day against Trevor Williams. Folks, I hope you got the itch for first pitch, because when we come back, Jack McMullen paints a picture. Scott Kornberg, he's ready to rock. Starting lineups in first pitch is right around the corner. Thanks for tuning in to the Marlins On Deck pregame show. I'm Steven Strom. Let's flip the M together, Miami. Marlins baseball. It's next on the Marlins Radio Network.